Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be talking about how to win the Marshall Scholarship. So first of all, what is the Marshall Scholarship? So the Marshall Scholarship funds up to 2 years of graduate study at any UK university for outstanding US students. The goal of it is to establish a long-term partnership between the United States and the United Kingdom. It seeks future leaders who will make meaningful contributions to their field and foster transatlantic collaboration. But it is more than just an academic award. It emphasizes leadership and public impact. Now, before I get into it, for those that are looking for the most comprehensive college support and leading publications with world-class professors, well, then I invite you to book a discovery call with me and my team at ivyleagueconsults.com. Now, there are 3 equally weighted criteria that are used in selection. The first is going to be academic merit. Now, in order to demonstrate this achievement, you must have exceptional academic achievement and present a clear, cohesive, intellectually rigorous course of study. You also must explain why the UK, which specific university supervisors that are essential to your goal. The ideal candidates will have shown evidence of research, publication, awards, or other scholarly achievement. You'll also want letters of recommendation from faculty who know your work exceptionally well. Now, the questions that I encourage students to think about during this section is why this degree, why this university, why now, and why the UK instead of the US. Now, the second criteria that you'll be evaluated on is leadership potential. So leadership potential is about creating impact, much less about the titles that you're holding. So some examples that I would encourage students to think about would be starting an initiative, solving difficult problems, mobilizing others, or delivering measurable results. The ideal candidates in this section will have shown resilience, have been able to persevere, and have shown a strong initiative towards helping others. I would reflect on those experiences that you've had during your time in college or before, and how those have grown you into a leader that you are today. Really strong examples will include those of research leadership, community engagement, campus service, advocacy, entrepreneurship, and professional projects. Now, the third criteria that you'll be evaluated on is ambassador potential. So that's the question that what makes Marshall distinct from any other scholarship? And that's that you're going to be acting as a US ambassador in the United Kingdom. Now, applicants in this case should demonstrate a strong US-UK interest. They should have the ability to build relationships with others, strong interpersonal communication, and of course, plans to remain engaged to the UK in some sort of way long after graduation. The questions that I recommend to think about during this section is what would encourage you to live in the UK? What skills or how could you act as an ambassador in the United Kingdom? What are some things that you do to improve cross-cultural or transatlantic communication? And finally, how will studying at a UK university improve collaborations in your field? Now, the third aspect that I really encourage applicants to think about is choosing which UK university will best suit you. Now, the Marshall Committee will expect a really thoughtful choice. Now, the idea is that you'll want to pick a particular faculty member at that school that can best represent your interests. Also, you want to think about what unique programs does the UK hold that the US does not avail, and what are the opportunities for interdisciplinary work. Now, a strong Marshall application tells one cohesive story, so I really recommend the past, present, future model. In other words, what has been your past history of excellence? Present, how have you made meaningful contributions in leadership or engagement? Future, what are your ambitious future goals? And then UK study. Why is going to the UK the essential next step in your career? And so all the application materials that you're going to be submitting to the committee should really reinforce this idea. And that is the past, present, future model, but also why the UK study is so incredibly important for you. Okay, now let's talk about the application timeline for the Marshall Scholarship. So in spring, you'll start thinking about your application. You'll start attending information sections. You'll determine whether you're eligible, which universities are good fits for you, and you'll start to think about who's going to be writing your letters of recommendation. Then in summer, each campus will typically have their endorsement deadline. You'll then be endorsed by your individual university. Then in September, you'll have your final submission date. So the Marshall application typically is due around September 29th, but this will vary from year to year, so I'd always recommend double checking on the website. You'll then wait for regional committees to review your application, and if they feel you're a promising applicant, they'll be moving forward to a regional committee interview. Now, finalists are invited to interview in one of 8 US regional committees. The interviews will assess your academic preparation, your leadership, your ambassador potential, and your ability to think critically and communicate effectively. And then the final decisions are typically communicated shortly after the interview. Now, what questions can you typically expect during the interview? They will ask you, of course, why do you need the Marshall Scholarship, or similar questions to that. Why do you feel as though you can serve as an ambassador potential? And they'll be evaluating you in all these different aspects. They'll also be asking you why the UK, why you've chosen this particular course of study, and a number of other questions that pertain to your ability to think critically. They also may want to know which problems you may want to solve in your career, how will you work to strengthen US-UK relationships, and how you've engaged with people from different backgrounds. The strongest applicants will have demonstrated impact in every single one of those sections. They may have strong research, they may have strong community engagement, but of course, they will all have the ability to serve as a good ambassador between the US and the UK. I hope this video helped you. I hope you learned something, and best of luck in your application.